to all of our phenomenal viewers, listeners, and supporters. I am your host, Billy Gutierrez, and today's a very special episode. We have our friends from Fountain House, New York. Founded in 1948 in New York City, Fountain House originated the clubhouse model of community mental health that has been replicated for more than 300 times in nearly 40 U.S. states and 30 countries around the world. Connections House is privileged to be a part of Fountain House United. As a way to learn and experience each other's clubhouses, Connections House and Fountain House exchanged 2 members and 2 staff. And here we have Bianca De Leon, Bethany Casamayor, and Stephanie Benhomme. Welcome, Fountain House, New York.
Thank you.
What's up, you guys?
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to California.
Thank you.
How was the flight?
Long.
How long was that flight? Like 5-6 hours or something?
6 hours.
Damn. And how was the time change for y'all?
Still getting used to it.
Yeah.
It's a week is too short. I almost feel like, because I think you need like at least a week to get adjusted from like the jet lag, but then like once you get adjusted to it within a week, you're like, damn, now I gotta go back to New York time. So yeah, cool. Well, happy to have you guys here. It's been a pleasure having you guys, kind of participate, see how our clubhouse works, and getting to know like little bits and pieces of how Fountain House operates and stuff. And so just give me a quick little brief background, or like what you do at Fountain House, like what each of you do.
So I've been at Fountain House over 3 years now, and I'm a social practitioner in the education unit. There are 8 units in the clubhouse, and even though we all collaborate with each other, our unit has an active about 200 members.
Damn.
And our function is we help support the members of the clubhouse with everything academic. So we have people that are doing a GED program, a master's program, college, vocational school. And so my job is to engage members, but also support them with their academic goals.
Nice. Bethany?
I'm a member of Fountain House. I've been a member since about 2022. My unit is the education unit. Bianca is my worker. She's great. And it's been an excellent experience. I've connected with so many people. So many members, the art gallery. So Fountain House really propelled me into the future. In order to graduate school, Fountain House assisted me with everything. So,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice to hear that.
And hi, I'm a mental health social practitioner in the Silver Center. Silver Center is the newest unit at Fountain House. It houses members who are 55 and older. I've been at Fountain House for 3 years. We basically focus on the members' productivity, as far as like when they reach a certain age, they're not able to do the physical stuff. They have a lot more health concerns. So the Silver Center is more of a safe place for people living, people from 55 and older that wants to still be a part of Fountain House, because once a member, you're always a member, and still want to engage. And we do a lot of workshops and activities. We have a big virtual part of our unit, because most of our activities is also hybrid. So you could join virtually or you could come in person. And the best thing that I enjoy about being in that unit is learning their stories, because we have members that have been at Fountain House over 50 years, and it's just great to hear how they started and where they're at now. So
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, speaking of stories, a lot of, I think one word that I can describe clubhouses in general is like, I guess, redemption, I guess you can say. A lot of the times members come in, they've had like a harsh story, a harsh upbringing, a lot of life has been lifing pretty, but, the clubhouse is a redemption for them, or just like a revival of their journey, you know, like recovery and all that stuff. But speaking of stories, you know, I want to know how you guys found Fountain House, because, you know, for me, I didn't think I'd be working in the mental health field, you know, working with cameras and being a videographer and photographer. I've always seen myself as like making short films and like doing all this stuff. But, you know, this, the whole Clubhouse model and that kind of thing, I'm still learning here and there, you know. I just came from the seminar and I'm still like, it's just the tip of the iceberg of like the Clubhouse model itself. And so the many stories I've heard throughout my time here, it's very like healing and beautiful to hear it. And so yeah, I just want to know how you guys found Fountain House.
Should I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I always wanted to be in mental health. I went to school and I got a degree, a bachelor's in psychology. I also majored in women's studies. So I always had that focus of wanting to work with people. And so my senior year of college, I started to intern at a nonprofit that helped women who were homeless get employment opportunities, housing opportunities. And I really liked the work, but it felt very transactional. Like it lacked the personable community aspect that Clubhouse has. And then I graduated, and then COVID happened, and it kind of threw a wrench in my plans. And I actually did law, so I was a paralegal. I was doing corporate law and real estate law, and I did that for 2 years. And I was very good at it, but I hated it. And it felt like I was doing a job.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm good at this, but I need to switch gears and get back to like what I want to do. And so I found Fountain House, and from the moment I interviewed, I was like, yeah, this is my place. And the thing is, like, Fountain House is so big, but there is a place for everyone, and instantly you feel like a sense of belonging. So I like switched gears. I started at Fountain House, and I've been in one unit this whole time. And recently I'm decided to do a lateral move. So now I'm going to be moving from education to the research unit. And the thing is, with social practice, if you're doing it correctly, it doesn't matter what unit you're in. It's just you're using different tools. So that's what brought me to Fountain House, and that's what's kept me there. It's the community.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how I started in Fountain House. So I was a part of NAMI, if anyone's familiar with NAMI.
Yeah.
There was a Zoom call. This was around, I'm thinking 2021 or 2022. And I really enjoyed the Zoom call because there was a lot of support. There was a lot of people talking about their stories and, you know, discussing mental health issues, things like that. And it was really inspiring, but I think at the time I needed like more of an in-person type of connection. So I connected with one of the young ladies. Her name is Patrice. Shout out Patrice. I connected with her through NAMI, and she actually had a mental health group of her own. And she told me about Fountain House, and I was like, oh, I've never heard of Fountain House. And so she introduced me to Fountain House, and there was a program called the College Reentry Program. And at the time, I had stopped going to school maybe in about 2019 due to hospitalization. So when I found out about this program, and it's now currently the YAC program for young adults. But when I found out about the college reentry, it really inspired me, and I said I could use this to help me get back to go back to school. And that was a goal that I had. But I just didn't know how to do it for a long time. Like in 2020, I was trying to figure out how I could go back to school, but there was all these other details, calling the school, getting in touch with people. and it was kind of challenging for me, feeling slightly insecure about, my mental illness and all these other things. But one thing I was really missing was the social aspect. I really felt like I needed to be in community because I was still struggling, with recovery. So college reentry basically was like a pre-college program where you take multiple courses, and it's not for actual college credit, but it does help like learning like skills to write an essay. Also, there were like mindfulness tools, communication, how to communicate effectively, things like that. And that was very helpful. And I continued with that program, and maybe the following year I was able to get readmitted in school. So I actually read my readmittance letter during a time when I was physically at Fountain House. And the support and the love that I received, especially in the education unit, was like it can't be compared to anything. Like, I'll never forget that moment. So then speed it up to 2024. I attended my last semester, or my last 2 semesters, at the end of 2024, and I think the beginning of 2025. Actually, okay, don't quote me on it, but I went back to school, basically. I went back to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was some other hurdles with going to the respite. There was other things going on in my life. I had lost a family member, but one thing that stayed consistent was support. Like, Bianca checked on me, like, people in the education unit, I would get the phone calls and they would check on me. But to make a long story short, this all led to me graduating last June.
Hey,
so
congrats,
grad. So, in a nutshell, and to be honest, I had started attending college in 2014. So you can imagine from 2014 to 2024, like all this span of time going by. But yeah, no, that's basically the long version of how I was introduced to Fountain House and how it has literally changed my life.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
Stephanie.
Hi. So, how I was introduced to Fountain House is a little bit different. I recently graduated from Rutgers University, and my background was criminal justice, and I minored in sociology, and I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, and I had a very hard time getting a job in the criminal justice field because my background while I was in college was retail. I did a lot of retail. I had a lot of retail experience, sales experience, but like Bianca, I hated it. I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do because I kept getting fired. Low key kept getting fired from the retail jobs that I've been working at. Yeah. But I always knew that I wanted to be in service, working with the underserved. I knew that since a young age. I've always wanted to work with people because I didn't have a really perfect life. I struggled a lot, and I knew that I wanted to support those who may not have that motivation, that support that they needed at the time. So when I went to school, that's why I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. And then I found a organization to volunteer in. It was called Just Leadership USA at the time. They worked with individuals who were incarcerated at Rikers Island, coming home from incarceration or still currently incarcerated. And they shared their stories of how Rikers Island impacted them. Rikers Island, for those who don't know, it's a jail. And we have over 2,400, maybe a little bit more, detainees waiting for trial. Mm-hmm. And they're presumed innocent until they're guilty or they go on trial. But what is happening is like these detainees, a lot of Black and brown individuals especially, are being held for years. Not 1 year, not 2 years, you could go 6 years. And due to the fact that they don't have money to pay for bail. And when I was hearing these stories, it broke my heart because I was just like, wow, like, you know, can you imagine, you know, you probably missing if you were on parole and you're missing your curfew and you get incarcerated again and they sent you to Rikers Island, and because you can't afford your bail, you're stuck there for how many long, you know, with no, you know, support. So while I was in that organization, I was working with the members and staff in policy and advocacy, going to Albany, speaking to state legislators, assembly members, their district, talking about Rikers Island and how it needs to be closed. And, you know, I enjoyed doing that job, and I enjoyed the fact that we had members in that community speaking and telling their testimony, sharing their stories, and the bravery, because I can't imagine at that time me opening up and talking about what led me to incarceration or what happened. And when you hear the stories, it starts with, wow, like it's not something that you could blame. Like, don't take it like it's your fault. It happened because something happened in your life, a traumatic happened, or you have a mental health diagnosis that you may not even know. So, long story short, I ended up getting a job during the pandemic at a homeless shelter. It was an all-women's shelter, and it was a mentally ill, chemically substance abuse shelter. And it housed 120 women. And I was a housing specialist. I worked there for 2.5 years. And I'm gonna say I had a love-hate relationship for the job. I love the fact that I was serving women who were underserved, finding them housing, getting them out of the shelter. But what I was realizing that their mental health was not being prioritized. And they kept coming back to the shelter. Like, I would help them find an apartment and they were ready to go, and then they would sabotage it. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is it? And I didn't have any mental health background. Like I said, my background was criminal justice. And I'm like, what's happening? Why is it that, you know, you're at the finish line and you're just sabotaging everything, you know, that we worked so hard for? And that's when I was realizing that the mental health aspect of that shelter was not being prioritized. And I advocated, and I sent letters, and I sent emails, and, you know, I was, you know, making sure that these women were being educated and being supported at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I had a client who was a member at Fountain House who introduced me to Fountain House. I didn't know there was a clubhouse around the corner from where I worked that served a community that had a mental disability until my client told me about it. And she's like, Stephanie, let's go to Fountain House. I want to show you. And she gave me a tour. When I walked into Fountain House, I was like, wow, like, this is gorgeous. Like, it looked like a house. Like, anybody seen Home Alone? If y'all seen Home Alone, the first Home Alone. And you walk in that big foyer and the steps, that's exactly what it looked like. And I was in awe and learning about what they did and how they focus on members' recovery. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I had a meeting with one of the directors there, and I believe the client has shared so many stories about me that the director was like, oh, we're hiring, by the way. I think you'll be a perfect fit at Fountain House. And I'm like, I'm not looking for a job. I'm already content. I'm already saving lives at the shelter. I'm happy, not really happy, but happy because the shelter is a very toxic environment for those who've been in the shelter. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, and I have no enemies. So it's not something that I would recommend, and I understand why. And at the same time, when she mentioned it, I was curious at the same time. So shortly after, I checked the website, and I was like, and I read more about it, and I applied, and I had a interview with the Wellness Center, and I had an interview with the Silver Center. And the interview with the Wellness Center was cool. They focused a lot about me and asked a lot of questions about my education. But when I got an interview with the Silver Center, it felt different. It felt like I was at home. I felt like I was being seen, heard. I could relate. I was learning. It was just a different type of feeling. And I was like, this is where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And if any, no offense, well, mamas, if any unit choose me, I hope Silver Center is the one that picks me, because this is where I felt most comfortable at. And so I've been here for 3 years, and I run a whole, well, not just me, but we have an amazing group of colleagues and members that in that unit that is so like family oriented. We work together, we in partnership, like a team. And I also run the advocacy committee meetings that we have every Thursday. We've been growing. We have an advocacy academy now. We're in the 3rd cohort. And the fact that I am using the background that, which is like unheard of, because that's not what I thought I would be able to do. And I'm still doing the advocacy work while I'm in Fountain House, which makes me appreciate Fountain House more, because the work that I was doing with the people who are incarcerated in Rikers Island, I could do it here with people who are dealing with their mental health diagnosis. Cool. And I still go to Albany, and we still talk to state legislators. We still ask for money, and we still talk about the clubhouse and how it's effective, and how the members are really recovering based off of the social practice that we implement in the clubhouse.
Awesome.
So yeah,
you just answered a whole lot of questions I was about to ask. No, but you're good. You're good. Okay. Thank you.
I can add more to it.
Thank you for your beautiful description of Fountain House. That's a good segue to my next question. Like, how would you describe the community about Fountain House to someone that has never visited? That's for you too.
Okay. You go.
Okay. So someone who's never visited Fountain House, a few things they need to know or be informed of is that Fountain House is indeed a community. It's almost like family there. So it's a beautiful thing, because you could be in the stairwell walking down the steps, or you could be by home and garden, or you can be in women's group, and you'll ask someone their name that you don't know, or someone that you haven't seen in a while, or something like that. And as a member, you connect with them, and then the conversation leads to, what the other person may be dealing with in terms of their mental health. And there's a kind of just a commonality, and just that person now becomes a part of your support in a way. And it's like there's like individual support from workers, then there's the support of the rest of the community, and then like just the fact that Fountain House has multiple events, they have multiple things going on, the units, it's like everywhere you go within the house you will receive some kind of support. And some people are alone, or some people don't have a support group outside of Fountain House. So when you first come in and you're first introduced to this place, you realize like, I'm not alone in my recovery journey. Like, I literally have all of these people here supporting me, rooting for me, checking in on me, and making sure that I'm okay. And even when you first walk into the building, you say good morning to the people at the front desk, and it's like you're welcomed with a smile. So my first impression of Fountain House was that this place is amazing, and I got involved immediately. So anyone out there who feels like they don't have support, support is there. Just seek it out, and a place like Fountain House will be perfect for you.
Okay, Fountain House is like a chaotic but fun place to be, and I think when you first walk in, it can kind of feel like overwhelming because by the time you make it to your unit, you've already interacted with like 6 or 7 people. And so that can be like very therapeutic in that like maybe you're struggling with isolation, right? And so you're not used to having that much social interaction. So it's helpful, but in some ways it can feel like overwhelming. But once you find your space in the community, people are so welcoming. Like I've learned so much from just my everyday member interactions, more than I would from any training ever. And no matter what unit you're in, you can really choose where you want to be, but everyone will welcome you with open arms. And the unit and the work order day is very accessible. So there's also like a very big sense of freedom where you get to structure your day how, as a member, you would get to structure your day how you want to. Like today you can be helping me in education, but tomorrow you could be doing like floral arrangements in home and garden, and then at night you could be doing women's group. And every time that you do a different activity, you're meeting a different group of people and learning a little bit about them. Or you're going to like the culinary unit and there's 14 different tables you can sit at. Every table has a mix of people. And so it's just like this constant exchange of like people talking and socializing. And like my members who I work with, I often tell them like, come to Fountain House on your worst day. You don't need to come when you feel like you're most productive. Like you need to contribute to our work order days. Sometimes you will come in energetic and you may participate 9 to 5, and that's great. But I would rather you be sitting on our education unit couches and being around people than being at home and isolating. Because even those interactions when you walk into the building, I think can help really uplift people's spirit and know that like you exist and people acknowledge you and you're like welcome here. Like there's always gonna be a space for you at the table.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Thanks for your guys' description. I know we're running a little bit short on time. I know we got lunch in a little bit, but I'm gonna try to speed run these questions for you guys so you guys can answer. So you guys are here for an exchange, right? So what is one thing that you'll take back with you from this exchange experience?
Oh, that's so good. Do you guys want to go?
One thing is so many things I would take back with me, but the one thing that I realized coming here is the sense of community. It's not overwhelming because we're in a big space when we go to New York, but the community is so tight here. You guys work together. I love the way how you open the meetings. The fist bumps and good mornings is just like, it's amazing. I like the way you guys interact with each other, and I like the fact that we had fun. Like we are having fun, and it's nonstop laughing. I love the fact that you have a podcast. Like we need something like that at Fountain House. And I also like the fact that you guys have an Apple Pay to pay for Pat's Place to pay for snacks and stuff like that. We need to implement that in Fountain House too. So yeah, that would I would do. I would take that with me.
Cool.
I could say one thing about this place is that just coming into the space, I was immediately like just inspired by once again like this sense of like community and closeness between everyone here. It's like, I don't know, it's just like, it's such a special place. I just really enjoy that, and I'm like super inspired. I'm even thinking about like, hey, how can I have something like this in my hometown? Like that's just something I've always had on my mind, but seeing your space, I realized that it's definitely possible. And that's the one thing I'm gonna take back with me, that I've seen this space and it's possible to have one in where I live. Shout out to Yonkers.
I think for me, it's going to be the sense of community for sure. I felt welcomed the moment I walked in. I also love the concept of everything being under one unit because I think it really centers member choice. And that could be something that, is not only essential to member recovery, but when you've been dealing with hospitalization and just all of these trials and tribulations, a sense of power gets taken away from you. So like having the opportunity to come here and choose how you want to structure your day, maybe learn new skills and interact with new people, I think that's really, really special. And I think we're doing mental health in a really new and inspiring way.
Cool. Yeah. There's like pros and cons to having both a small community and a big community. Big community, there's a lot of people to interact with, different personalities and all that stuff. But also, it's not bad having a really tight-knit community because then you get to really know the members and staff and get a stronger bond, you know what I'm saying, rather than dispersing your energy and like in many different places, which isn't bad, but pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
But one of my last questions, we got really, really, one of my last questions is any lasting things you want to leave out there to the world? What do you want to say?
Don't give up. If you are a person who's unsure of your mental health diagnosis, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to seek help. If you are struggling, it's okay to struggle. It's okay to be in that moment, but don't give up. We have a beautiful space, and it's not just Fountain House. You could go to any clubhouse throughout the United States or domestically.
Internationally, too.
Internationally. And we're here for you. And I could say that because when I go to Fountain House, even though I'm part of the members' recovery, I'm helping them recover, they're giving me a chance for me to heal too. It's healing. It's motivating. It's courage, and every day I walk into the house, it's like, wow, like I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be a part of these members of recovery because it's making a difference in my life. I'm more patient, I'm more understanding, I'm less judgmental, and just because you have a mental health diagnosis doesn't make you indifferent. We have a beautiful community who's very talented, artists, singers, musicians, teachers, lawyers, doctors, and that doesn't take away from them, and I just want to encourage people to talk to somebody, get help, seek help, and don't give up.
I think something that I would leave with someone would be, don't be afraid to ask for help when you're at your lowest moment or when you're really just like having a terrible day. It's okay. Like, it's all right. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Don't be ashamed of having mental health diagnosis or issues, because at the end of the day, or maybe a little while later, you'll figure out that it becomes a part of who you are, but it also is almost like a superpower. Like, one thing I can say is that I regained my strength emotionally and spiritually, just realizing that I could graduate school, or I could live on my own, or I could do these things. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. And you will see, especially if you're attending a clubhouse, go to a clubhouse, get that support. Slowly you'll gain back your confidence. Slowly you'll gain back who you are. That feeling of emptiness will totally leave you, and you'll realize that you made it to the other side. So don't give up. Reach out for help, and believe in yourself. You'll get through it. I promise.
think what I would leave is probably community is key. And I think a lot of times people's recovery journey looks very different, but the things that you're able to accomplish when you have a group of people that are working towards the same goal versus what you can accomplish just like an island yourself is so different. Like, rely on your peers and the people that understand you, because with community you can build spaces like this and give each other support.
Cool.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll end the episode off. Thank you again for all of our viewers, listeners, and supporters. Thank you, Bianca, Bethany, and Stephanie, for visiting our clubhouse.
Thank you.
Hope you guys
Yes,
had fun.
thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We've loved
It's
it.
been dope. So dope so
Dope.
far.
Now I'm a little parched, so I need to get some water.
Okay.
So again, thanks you guys. Peace.
Thank you.
Peace out. Bye.